What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the fantasy foot cards and ranking every single one of them. Just as a base for them, the normal fantasy foot team can be upgraded 4 times with a win of 1 match in the next 6 domestic games from the 17th of March. They then need to have 3 appearances as a starter. Then there is, for midfielders and attackers, 2 goals or 2 assists. And for defenders and goalkeepers, it is 2 clean sheets. That'll get you another upgrade. And the final one for them for an upgrade and 3 new traits is avoiding defeat in 6 games. Win or draw for the next 6 games from the 17th of March for the final bonus if they already have the 3 previous. They can mix and match all of them. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to necessarily complete one to unlock the next. It is just finishing them objectives. If you check on Twitter, there'll be plenty of posts of who's going to be upgraded and when and what the statistic of the match is. For the heroes, it is just simply a win in the next 6 domestic games and avoiding defeat, so they can have a possible of +2 upgrades, and the 6 defeats again comes with 3 new traits. Are you tired of using players like this? I would much rather have teams more like this. Then I recommend going over to skycoach.gg for all of your coaching and coins needs. They are cheap, fast and reliable, but at the checkout make sure you are using code JT11 for a discount on your orders. Back to the video. So the first card that we're going to pick off with is obviously going to be the man that everybody wanted. Our man Ginola is here at the S category. Currently coming in at 12.3 million coins. He is for Newcastle. I was trying to think that it's Leeds is Harry Kewell, and I believe he's got a good shot at least 1 upgrade. Maybe the 2 could be a little bit more difficult, depending on obviously the games. I know they have Man U and I believe it's either Chelsea or Liverpool, I want to say, after the 17th of March. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can avoid 6 defeats, or can win 1 and not have a defeat in 6 to get him up to that 93 rated. Even at 91, a fantastic card to say the least. A 5-star that is absolutely impeccable. We have got a review on the channel, and also there is a loan available if you want to go and have a try. That card just does 17 matches and you can get it all done. Again, an objective of how to complete that is on the channel if you want to watch it after. We then have our man Crouch, obviously coming in for Liverpool, and to be honest with him, he's had a nice pace increase, which is always good. A 7+ from his World Cup version, and I would like to say he's got at least 1 upgrade in him. An 89 Crouch, it's not bad. Whether we see more, it will be interesting to see where these heroes go towards the end, but for right now, it is the best Crouch you can get, and he did alright. Personally, for me, he's not necessarily going to get in other than nostalgic value. Other than that, I personally don't believe he has a place. It is just unfortunate for him. I personally think he's going in the C category. Yes, he can somewhat finish, but getting him there is such a different game style. I'd say the only way you could really have a bonus with this card, if you had no other options as a striker, would be literally just crossing it into him. Even though crossing necessarily isn't the greatest tactic, he has got the advantage of being 6'7" and very good heading stats, as we can imagine. Other than that, trying to ping the ball back to him, his turn and circle is terrible, and unfortunately that is just how it is with him being 6'7". That being said, he is just a nostalgic card, but he is sitting at that C category for me. We then have Abide Pele. I know we're just going through heroes at the moment, but Abide Pele, incredible player. 91 rated. Again, most of the cards should have at least a 1 upgrade at the minimum, especially with the heroes. And I think this guy comes in very, very nice. He can play the wing, which is always good as well. And I feel like he can play all the roles bar from striker. Even though, yes, I think with somebody maybe with a bit more physical attributes could do really well as a striker, I would more than suggest him going to be more of a cam / left wing, right wing. That being said, for me, he's always going to be an S. Love his normal hero card and glad we've got the upgrade for him. Same with Harry Kewell. Again, one of the better left wings we can get in the Prem. He is obviously for Leeds. So realistically with Leeds' form, I'm probably only seeing a +1. Whether they're going to avoid defeat in the next 6, you possibly could, and that's football for you. He literally could go the next 6 wins in a row. The chances, very unlikely, but we definitely should hopefully see one upgrade on him, taking him up to a 91. And I think already he's a fantastic card at what he's standing at. Currently coming in at 1.17 mil, which to be fair to him is really not that bad if you compare him to the other left wings. A lot of cards above him are 2 to 3 million and above. Many below him are not necessarily up to the full scratch that I think Harry Kewell is. Personally for me, another great S category card that we can get in FIFA 23. We then have Cordoba. Again, this card looks nuts. He's coming in at 1.3 mil. Stats look absolutely impeccable for him. Great pace, great defending, great physicals. We've got 84 composure, which isn't necessarily the greatest. It's the one thing that really lets him down in terms of what I kind of expected. But to be fair, looking at the hero card, I couldn't believe that he had 82 composure. Again, it's one of them things that doesn't jump out at you straight away. Because you see him at the start of the game, you see a lot of greens, you don't see many yellows. But in terms of everything else, he's got great balance, good reactions, even a little bit of passing, nothing too credible there, but still a phenomenal centre-back. The question is whether he is top centre-back material. I feel like the stats definitely point towards it. He's got to think he's going against Lucio World Cup, who we didn't get in a hero. We're looking at Team of the Year Virgil, Team of the Year Militao, Maldini. I must admit Saliba looks like he's coming in incredible with a potential of a +4 as well. That could be quite likely. Obviously, he should be getting the 3 appearances, the 1 win, and 2 clean sheets in the next 6. Again, looks possible. So we could be seeing at least a 92 Saliba, maybe a 93 if the form goes all right. Whether he takes over them as well as Vidic and also Nesta, it's an interesting one. I do think he's a minimum of A+. I'm just thinking whether he's an S defender. He should be. I want to say he should be, but I'm kind of hesitant to think that he could be up there. 1.3 mil, more than likely the fact that he can get an 89 as well, even a 90 potentially. That is the bit that's swaying me personally. 5A, I'm going to keep him an A+ for right now. I believe if he does manage to get 2, maybe the 1 upgrade, he most definitely should be in that S, but I do think he's kind of on the border at the moment in my eyes. In terms of the centre-backs that I've named, the S category is very, very elite, and it would be a question of, would you prefer him or a Maldini? That is where he's got to be on that same sort of level. We then have a look at King, who's had a nice upgrade again. Well, a nice upgrade. A +1 on top of what he's already got from his 87 very, very recently in himself. Again, with him, I feel like they could have gone with a different dynamic. I just don't understand why he was so late, or he was an 86, why he was so late to the party with the game, and now why doesn't he have his own dynamic? I know this is his previous one that we haven't seen for very long. He's coming in at 530. I think he's a standard centre-back. 82 pace is nice, good defensive stats, solid physical. He's got a good amount of composure, which is a big plus for him, but I do think he is very, very standard in his own right. Obviously can go up to the 90 with a double upgrade, but he more than likely will probably just get the +1. Again, I'm probably going to go for an A with him personally. I feel like he is a solid centre-back, but he's standard. We've got so many like him. It's just a breed of centre-backs now that we have a lot of. So he doesn't really stand out unless he was to get the 90, and that potentially then pushes him up even more. But that is very, very unlikely. We then have Capdevia. This guy, I was kind of happy that we really got the World Cup, and now there's an even better version. This guy is just incredible. Did only get a +1 from his World Cup, which is a bit of a shame, but the card already was so good. It's, he's 790,000 coins still. The fact that he's still that on a World Cup version that we've had pack after pack with World Cup and normal heroes in is impeccable for him. 1.7 mil, a good chance of a 90, and then a slightly less of a chance of a 91, but this guy is most definitely the S sort of crap category in left back. One of the best left backs you can get. Theo, Ferland Mendy, obviously then a few more in, I think Davies could get one with a team of the season. You've then got a couple more that I think come under, if I can find wherever I had the full left back list. There's Cancelo, but I feel like in terms of Bundesliga now, kind of lost a bit of an edge personally. And then finally, I think it's Zanetti that can go that position. Roberto Carlos, that's who I'm looking for. There is a good amount, and I do think Capdevila has a question to be put in there as a number 1 spot. So he's going to be in that S for me. We then finally, to finish off the heroes, have Rickon, the cheapest hero you can find in the Fantasy Foot or Foot Fantasy. I'm seeing both ways. In terms of Rickon, 125,000 coins. He's a standard upgrade. He's gone from an 85 to an 88, chance of an 89, less chance of a 90 as a standard, but he's had a nice upgrade throughout. 4 on absolutely everything, bar from a 3 upgrade for his defending and a 5 for his physical. He also is a 4-star now, which again is a nice upgrade for him. I do think that he again is very much like King, a very standard cam, nothing too crazy, but I do think as well the fact that he could be an 89, 125k, it's not a bad little price for an 89 cam, most definitely, especially with the fact that he can get the 3 stars. That is always perfect as well. Obviously they do get the 3 stars no matter who's in your team. That is obviously going to be a big factor with him, and I do think that's with a lot of them. I don't really have any Serie A players, I don't have any Bundesliga players, but you can just pop them in your squad and they automatically get the max chem for you. In terms of Rickon, I think purely for hype and the fact we do have a lot of better cams, I'm going to go B, just purely for the fact that I think at 88, he's very standard. In an 89, it does come up a little bit better. Obviously, with the 90 shooting he'd get, the 88 pace, pretty much everything should just be +1s. Maybe he gets a +2 defending, judging on how FIFA upgrade their cards. There is no kind of, illusion that the upgrades are completely different. They are very standard. You can tell 100% when a card's getting an upgrade what it pretty much looks like. Bar from maybe 1 or 2 stats. You're looking at in-games, if anything, but it's a standard. So I think once he gets to an 89, he'd be in that A category. For right now, we're going to keep him in the B. Now, in terms of the normal Foot Fantasy, or I think, yeah, it is Foot Fantasy. I don't know why it keeps saying Fantasy Foot for some reason. But in terms of the actual team, there's a few players that in general would be nice with a full 4 upgrade, but you've got to think, what are you looking at right now? With a few of them, they don't really get into the team. They don't get into many people's team. There is a couple that I personally think are absolutely brilliant. Saliba is going to be that number 1. I think for me, if I'm looking at him right now, I would go A+. And that is a standard. He's a standard centre-back. Very good. With an upgrade, at least 2 or 3, he's definitely going into that S, because we'll get a massive pace increase. We'll get even more defending and physical. I think once he gets, I'd say at least, 92 defending, 90 physical, he'd then get a double boost on that 87 pace. That personally is where he really kind of sets himself. Being as well the French links, the Prem links, as well as being 92 to 93 rating, that has got to be pushing him into that S. For right now, I'm going to say A+, but we will potentially do a full upgraded Foot Fantasy once that have been completed. If all of the teams have got a loss, or obviously all upgrades have actually happened, we might do a full upgraded list to compare where they stand there, because you've got to go off what they are right now. There's no point going with the fact that Ginola could be a 92. There is a chance they don't win. It is all about that. You can say anybody. So if I put Saliba in S, but say he doesn't play in the next 6 games after today or after the 17th, doesn't get a win, obviously loses the 6th, and then doesn't get a clean sheet, he stays at 89. And he most definitely isn't an S at an 89 personally. It's only with the upgrades that he gets that kind of rating for me. We then look at a few of them that are the cheaper of the cheap. Personally for me, Miller is a great MLS squad builder, but in terms of an in-game everybody, he's just not going to be in there for me. He's got some good stats, but very much just objective based, if anything. Trimmel, I feel like, is very similar. It's coming in at 30,000 coins, even with a few upgrades. I think he only just makes it into the B with, say, a +3 at the minimum. In terms of Bundesliga squads, not terrible. We then look at some of the others. We've obviously got Dele Alli, Turkish league, but has got the English nation, which again is not bad for chemistry. He is currently coming in at a whopping 31,000 coins. Again, with him, I don't see anything incredible from him. He's got 85 pace. He is a 4-star, which is always nice. But personally for me, he is just going to be fodder, 100%. We then have Gururi, I want to say how you pronounce his name, probably butchered that again. An 87 objective that you can get. Nice stats throughout, good left mid. French obviously is kind of taking up that spot with Terrier in terms of left mid in Ligue 1. And I think in terms of what he's got, not bad stats at all. We're looking at the good pace, decent shooting. He has obviously the chance of going upgrading. 4-star, 3-star is the only thing. I want to say Terrier is a 4-4, but again, I could be wrong as I personally don't stare at it. This is with his 88. He is a 4-4, so realistically, in terms of being on top of overtaking Terrier for my personal benefit, he's going to have to at least get a +3 or 4 because of that 4-star weak foot that he is lacking in. In terms of an objective, not bad at all. I personally go in terms of stats. It's got good acceleration, the dribbling's nice, could do a bit more balance, which we can do with an engine. Obviously passing looks pretty good. I'm going to go A. I feel like a solid card, nothing too crazy, very standard but on the higher end. We then have Skriniar. Again, very, very standard. I think for me, he's just going to have to go in B. Good pace, but we're getting a lot of players with 80 plus pace. Same with the defending and physical. Nothing too crazy. And same with the dribbling. A standard upgrade, that is personally where he's going. We then have Angelino. Can obviously be, well, I'm hoping actually he can be a left back. It's one thing that I haven't actually clicked on. We've got him as a left wing back at the moment. In terms of the card, he's in net. He can be a left back and left mid. Has had a nice upgrade from his 83, which is not bad. Still coming in at 39,000 coins. Good, okay composure at 85. You can't grumble with that. Passing's looking good. Little bit of physicality, mainly on the aggression and stamina. 71 strength. Could do with that upgrade, so I'd probably be recommending Anchor if anything. Would give you 79 strength, 90 defending, and 93 pace. A 90 rated left back, I think a standard there. I'm probably going to go with B for him, just thinking of all of the other left backs we've got. I feel like he wouldn't make it into the top 5 as of yet, especially being Bundesliga. You've got to take all of them factors into consideration, and it's personally why Alphonso Davies is kind of in that picture, but again isn't, because of just how little there is in the Bundesliga at the moment. Until we get team of the season, when potentially we do get the team of the season Kimmich, Goretzka, we then look at a Mane. Obviously we did get a flashback, I want to say, I don't think it was a moments, Mane during team of the year. So if you have done that, some nice links there. Other than that, we've got the final 5, nearly said 4. We've got Benrahma, Fernando, Isaac, Loriente, and Sanchez. I think for me, Marcos looks really good. 1.5 mil, 89 rated, a very, very solid base stat throughout. Incredible pace. Dribbling looks good. You've obviously got the 83 shooting and defending, which is a nice start for him. So if you wanted to go with the Shadow or the Hunter, you've got either your attacking midfielder or a very heavy on the defensive midfielder. Whether people are actually going for that, people are saying Anchor, which I could imagine because the pace being so high, Anchor would actually be perfect. 96 pace, 88 defending, 90 physical. That for me is a cracking player. Unfortunately doesn't get the skill move upgrade, but I think we can kind of work with that with a box to box. It just depends on how you set up in that midfield. As a DM, solid. Upgraded as well would be absolutely solid. I think for me, looking at him just at this base rate, in terms of a CDM, 1.5 mil because he could be upgraded. You've got to take that inflation into price. I feel like I'll go with S, judging from other CDMs that we've got in the game, especially La Liga. Realistically, if we're looking at a box-to-box with heavy defense, Cruz is more box-to-box, no defense. We've got Gavi, very much the same. De Jong is one that really puts him there, but even then, I believe his stats are pretty much, other than passing and dribbling, everything else is pretty much better. So that's an interesting one. And he's got an extra, 6 pace on top of him. I think that kind of speaks for me, and I think De Jong is definitely up there in the category of what we can kind of go with. Finally, we've got Fernando. Again, standard. He's not a bad upgrade. 83 to an 88. Good pace increase. Obviously, the defending physical looks nice. A solid DM. A 3-star, 4-star, very much like Lorente as well, actually. In terms of composure, 85. Agility balance is a little bit on the lower side, which is what really will stand this card out compared to them top end. In terms of right now, Would I go B or A? I feel like, from what I've used with Fernando in previous years, and obviously with the gold card from La Liga objectives, very, very slow turn and circle, a little bit slower to get on the move. He has got the sprint speed rather than the acceleration, which we could kind of imagine. I think we'll go with B. Judging 60,000 coins, I don't feel like he gets into that A without upgrades. When he gets 89, 90, 91, then potentially we could be talking about a at the least, because we would get a little bit on that agility balance. I'd probably say at this moment in time, you've got to be looking at that engine, purely for the fact that you'd get 78 agility balance from that, little bit of passing again, and pace, and I can imagine, people are saying Shadow, I thought they might, 89 pace, 96 defending. I mean, the actual physical defending stats, incredible. 96 on that defending is very hard to get, but losing out on that balance and agility compared to what we can have. Xabi Alonso is in SBCs at the moment. That for me is 100% the way better option, and it would save yourself buying him off the market with a chance of an upgrade. So at the minute, I'll go B. Once he gets upgrades, or if he gets upgrades, then we could kind of talk about upgrading him into that A. We then have Sanchez. Alexi, we thought he was going to be a showdown. Obviously now it shows you why he's not. Again, not a bad card. 90 rating on the bat. He's gone from a 79 to a 90, which is incredible upgrades. 16 pace, 11 shooting, dribbling, defending, passing, and 15 on that physical. It's a cracking upgrade. Currently coming in at 700,000 coins. 4-star, 4-star. Great dribbling stats, 95 and 96 agility balance. We cannot argue with one bit. In terms of a centre forward, it's really the argument between an A+ and an S for this card. If I'm thinking without the upgrades, because with the upgrades there's potential there. Without the upgrades, obviously we could go striker. He hasn't actually got the left wing in-game potential, left wing alternative position. It is centre forward or striker, because I do think this sort of card, 5'6", is just destined to be on the wing. So realistically, in-game, I'd swap him, which is absolutely fine because Mbappe can go left wing. He could go striker and switch them in-game. So that is not a problem. I do think he would be more beneficial there. In terms of a left wing, we've got Harry Kewell there. You know what? We've got to. If Harry Kewell can be there, then Sanchez can be there as well, especially if I'm looking more left wing. As a striker, I'd probably be looking A+, because I think what we've got as a striker, he wouldn't match a Ginola, an R9, and Mbappe. He just wouldn't have that capabilities. His height just isn't there. Obviously, the physicals are okay, and they've had a nice upgrade, but I still think they would struggle. On the left and right wing, I think he's got a solid chance. We then have Ben Rama before we get to the absolute beast that is Isaac. 105k for Ben Rama has gone from a 78 to an 89. Nice upgrade. 103,000. I know West Ham are not necessarily in the greatest of forms at the moment, but most definitely comes in still relatively nice. Will or should get the next 3 appearances, as well as obviously a win in them 6, we hope. I don't feel like they'll do the avoid defeats, and whether he gets a goal or 2, and well, gets 2 goals or 2 assists, that will literally just come down to the match that is the winner personally. I feel like if they're going against tougher opponents, he might struggle, and that will be an interesting one to say the least. This is what's good about the tracker, adds a different element to these cards, that it's not just down to fully him other than one upgrade. Ben Rama though, I feel like left mid-wise, I'd happily go with A. I feel like very similar to Garuri. I hate saying his name because I feel like I'm screwing it. Let me know if I'm getting that right. But we have Isaac as the last card. 400k, Sweden striker. Can he do it? He's an 89 rated, coming in at 6'4", great pace. Gives me very much Ibra vibes. Necessarily not the kind of biggest striker in the world compared to Ibra, but I do think with his A, pace, dribbling attributes, as well as then the shooting, he has definitely got to be coming in that A+. Whether he gets the upgrades could potentially be the S upgrade. Very unique like Ibra's build. Very tall, great pace. Doesn't have the balance, which will be the thing that knocks him off. But a 4-star, 5-star, I do think at the moment an A+ is a guaranteed. Whether he gets the upgrades will be the interesting part. And that's going to be the Fantasy Foot, or Foot Fantasy, however you want to pronounce it, tier list. Let me know if you agree. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll look at Team 2 once it's out on Friday.